So what did Brother John actually say about the cult? This is a letter he wrote to Berkowitz in November of 1993. In it, Ranieri says he was in the cult from 1960 to 63 directly and from 63 to 72 indirectly. He claims John Carr sponsored him into the cult and that he had seen a very young Berkowitz at the cult meetings. Ranieri calls the cult Druid in ritual and says its members had assaulted him during a ritual in 1961 and then forced him into prostitution. He says John Carr told him about multiple assassins and that the Carr brothers had been, quote, programmed to self-destruct if they remembered too much. He tells Berkowitz that he tried to expose the cult in 1971 or 72, after which he was set up and left for dead, and that he believes he knows the identity of the stocking cap man from the police sketch. Notably, Ranieri says most of his memories from these years are missing, and he is only now, in 1993, beginning to remember that period of his life, but he thinks talking to Berkowitz can help jog his memory. And just like his Dahmer stories that became more elaborate over time, Brother John's testimony about his years in the cult would grow much more detailed by the time Terry released the third edition of The Ultimate Evil in 1999. In the book version, Ranieri wasn't the only one the cult had assaulted and forced into prostitution. Now he was saying that 3 other youths were attacked alongside him during the same ritual, and that he'd been just one member of a group of teen boys who the cult had coerced into prostitution. Ranieri said he remembered watching the cult murder one of his teachers in 1965 and helping to move the bodies of 2 deceased children, presumably cult sacrifices, from a wooded area near Untermeyer Park in 1967. In this version of the story, Ranieri had one final meeting with John Carr in 1972, during which Carr informed him that new leadership, the Process Church, had taken over the cult and was demanding more sacrifices, prompting Brother John to flee New York a few months later. By the time Terry started filming his documentary on the cult theory, he had smoothed out some of the rougher edges of Ranieri's story, and he would go on to prominently feature Ranieri in the documentary as the only named eyewitness to the Untermeyer Park cult.